All right, good evening, everyone. It's just after 8 o'clock. We'll get started here just a second. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes here to pop in. All right, everyone. It is just past 8 o'clock. We got 8:06 on my screen here. We're just going to dive right into it. And I need to take that crawl off. That is not current information. I do not have that updated to current information yet. So, there we go. All right, it is just after 8 o'clock. All eyes on the weather back to the west, as you can see here on the radar. This is a live view from our Radar Max HD radar. This is the Columbus NEXRAD site over at Columbus Air Force Base. And as you can see right now, it is no active watches or warnings for the state of Alabama, but that is set to change here. It's probably going to change here within the next hour, as I do expect this tornado watch to be expanded further to the east. Right now, only one active tornado warning. This is for our friends up in Corinth, Mississippi. But as you can see along the lines, let me put the composite radar on here. This kind of gives you a better look at what's going on. Let's take the NEXRAD off. Now this looks a little messier compared to the NEXRAD, but that's just the type of data that it is. But this gives us this is a national composite view, and you can see just a line of thunderstorms. This is a massive storm system, and oddly enough, in the cold sector, we have blizzard conditions in places like Indianapolis, or in Illinois. Not Indianapolis. There's snow falling back into Iowa, into Missouri, snow and ice up towards the northern part of Michigan. Just a messy system. But down here in the warm sector, really from Chicago and points south all the way to Houston, Texas, just a line of thunderstorms, and it's marching across the United States with the system as it pushes through. So that's kind of the setup what we're looking at. This is a fairly fast-moving system. Earlier today, in the earlier update, it was just moving into northwestern Arkansas. And now the main line has just crossed the Mississippi River. The front itself is still back into the Little Rock area, but the actual main line here is passing into northwestern Mississippi. So as it sits right now, the main thing is threat has not changed. We're looking at a very high potential for some damaging winds. We're talking in excess of 60 miles an hour, upwards of 80 miles an hour in some places. And that there's going to be localized spots. This is not going to be a widespread 80 miles an hour, but it's still going to be at least some severe thunderstorm winds coming through your area. One thing we talked about earlier today, and I want to stress again, is take every thunderstorm warning tonight, treat it as a tornado warning. These are just going to be very intense winds. If you live in a mobile home or a camper or a manufactured house of some sort, make other plans tonight if you haven't already. You do not want to be in a manufactured home when this line comes through. The winds are just going to be that extreme. It could be that extreme. Overall tornado threat is not not the tornado threat is not the biggest threat tonight. But if we do see tornadoes form, let's take a look here. We'll just go and look. Again, you'll have to excuse this crawl. Let me adjust something real quick. All right. There we are. Let's go ahead and we'll throw the SPC graphic back up here. This is from about 11:30 today, and nothing really has changed. This is the output from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, that has a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for basically the entire state of Alabama. Again, don't get caught up on where the lines are. Do not. This isn't a situation, and storms don't behave based off of what a map lines on a map say they are. The only thing you need to be concerned about is when it comes to a map is where is your house on a map. You need to be able to find your house and your city on a map in case the warning is issued for your location. Again, the general threat tonight, biggest threat is going to be strong, damaging straight line winds. Secondary threat is going to be tornadoes. Any tornadoes that form tonight could be stronger. When I say stronger, I mean EF2 or greater. We could see a few spin-up tornadoes, but what I'm concerned about, and we'll go back here to the radar, but what I'm concerned about are these individual cells in this line. We want to see a cohesive line like this when it comes to limiting the tornado threat. You have in a conjoined line like this up here, you kind of see more spin-ups. But anytime you get these breaks in the line, as you can see, these cells are kind of individually broken off here. You have to watch for the potential of these stronger tornadoes. Now, I do believe the tornado threat is going to be greater for our friends into southeast Alabama. I'm talking areas south of Interstate 85 and east of Interstate 65. So that's going to come in the early morning hours tomorrow morning, probably after 1, 2 a.m., as early as 1 or 2 a.m. for our friends down towards Troy, Tuskegee, Troy, Enterprise, Opp, Andalusia, Dothan, and points to the east. But going back to our threat matrix here, again, take time now if you have anything in your yard that could be easily be thrown away or blown away, either tie it down or move it indoors. This includes the Alabama State Bird, otherwise known as trampolines. Make sure your trampolines are secured. Let's see. Again, the need-to-know information hasn't changed either. It's an overnight threat tonight. The greatest threat is from high wind. Tornadoes are possible. This is a statewide threat. And the greatest threat for tornadoes is going to be down south of Interstate 85 and east of 65. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be tornadoes elsewhere, but that's just based off what I'm seeing with model data. That's kind of where if I had to paint a bullseye, that's kind of where I would paint the bullseye. It's south of Montgomery. All right. So again, let's go back and look at the radar here. Hanging in here just a little while longer. So our plan tonight is to be here as long as we can, and as far as with live coverage, and then we will definitely have the radar running all night long. I'm waiting here because I'm waiting to see if the National Weather Service pulls the trigger on a new watch. I'm seeing some. Based off some of the mesoscale discussions that were put out by the Storm Prediction Center, I think that's coming within any minute now, really before 9 o'clock. So We'll put that information out there as soon as it's out, as soon as it is issued. Some things to remember tonight. Make sure you have multiple ways to get warnings if and when they are issued. Your number one way should be your NOAA weather radio. If you haven't got one, Walmart's open for a little while longer. You can go get you one. If not, you want to make sure that the wireless emergency alerts are enabled on your phone. I had a graphic for that earlier, but I do not have that graphic right now. But you go into your settings. You can Google this. Go into your settings, and you can make sure that the wireless emergency alerts are enabled on your phone. It's a different process for Android and iPhone, but this is the tone that goes off when there is something like an Amber Alert issued. The same thing can be done for when a tornado warning is issued for your location, and it will wake you up. If you've ever had an Amber Alert go off in the middle of the night, you know how loud it is. Same thing. That's a good secondary way. A third option, and we can put it in the chat here, or you can find it on our page. We'll be sure to put that information out. Is going to be Weather Call. We have a link that we can put out. It is a paid service. It's like $15 a year, but they'll call you day or night when it's an automated call that goes directly to you when a tornado warning is issued for your location. That's just another way that you can make sure that you are informed. Lastly would be a weather app of some sort. We recommend Barron Critical Weather, but you just want something that'll wake you up in the middle of the night. So just a reminder, we're going to just to kind of go over what we talked about already. If you're in a mobile home, you want to make sure that you have a secondary solution tonight. You do not want to stay in a mobile home tonight. You want to treat every severe thunderstorm warning that is issued as a tornado warning. These storms are going to be packing extreme winds. This is a fast-moving storm. There's a tight pressure gradient, and so the winds in these thunderstorms could exceed 60 miles an hour, and we may have isolated spots of upwards of 70 to 80 miles an hour. And do expect there to be power outages tonight. So make sure your devices are charged up. Now, that said, this is not going to be a long duration, what I would call a long duration event. Once the line gets to you, it'll be in and out in about an hour. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So once the line passes you, you're good to go to bed. If you're in South Alabama and East Alabama, just make sure that you have a way to get a warning if it's issued for you, and you can go ahead and go to bed too. But for our friends in Northwest Alabama, this is knocking on your doorstep right now. And I'm actually going to do a little bit of live tracking while we're here, because I know we have some friends that are watching us in far northwestern Alabama here. Let's see. Let's put the radar back on. This is a TV, it's a mesosphere here. If this continues on its current track, let's go to the velocity. Not the most organized thing I've seen. Definitely got some rotation here. This thing's about to be into Tennessee. So it actually may bypass the northern corner of Alabama altogether, which is a good sign. So, I'll back things back out, put the reflectivity back on. We're here. We're burning the midnight oil, and we'll be burning the midnight oil. We'll have running updates on the page. You can also find us on our community chats. We'll have live updates here on YouTube. We're switching for our primary severe weather coverage. We'll be going to YouTube. And that is just simply because YouTube is a much more stable platform, and with Facebook's algorithms the way they are, you might not see our video for 2 or 3 days afterwards, and we just don't like that. All right, so I'm gonna back out for now. and we will keep it. Like I said, we'll be here keeping an eye on things, burning the midnight oil, and we'll be back. We'll have probably do another update in about an hour or so, just depending on what